So my name is Clothilde Bullen. I'm the curator of Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander exhibitions and collections here at the Museum of Contemporary Art, and have been co-curator on this incredible exhibition, John Mawurndjul, I Am the Old and the New. And I'd like to, at this point too, thank my colleagues who are sitting up here with me, our colleagues who have co-curated the exhibition with us. And I'd particularly like to thank this very generous and incredible artist and man here, John Mawurndjul himself. We are very, very privileged to have you on our panel. The title of this panel is Breaking Ground, and we're here to sort of have a bit of a yarn about, or to give contextualisation to what the exhibition means in an international context, in a national context, but also in a context within our own Aboriginal communities here. I think it's probably best at this point to start by introducing the panel. So we have the wonderful Stephen Gilchrist at the end. Do you want to say hi?
Hi everyone, I'm Stephen and I'm Associate Lecturer at the University of Sydney.
Lisa Slade.
Hi everyone, I'm Lisa Slade and I am the Acting Co-Director at the Art Gallery of South Australia.
Nici Cumpston.
Hello, my family are Barkindji people from the Darling River in New South Wales, and I work at the Art Gallery of South Australia. I'm the Artistic Director of Tarnandy, the Festival of Contemporary Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander Art, and I also work as the Curator of Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander Art.
Nici is very hardworking and wears many, many hats. John?
My name is Mawurndjul and I have come here to Sydney.
And the wonderful Garde, who'll be our translator and interpreter today.
Yes, my name is Garde. I'm Mr. Mawurndjul's interpreter for the Guningu language to English and English to Guningu.
Thanks, guys. So I suppose I wanted to start by contextualising the exhibition internationally and what it kind of means in an international context. John has, of course, had many international exhibitions and his work is featured in many collections around not only this country but in many other countries around the world. And you'll see in this space that we have, I think it's 63 lenders to the exhibition, many of whom are from overseas. So I guess I wanted to ask the panel initially just to set that or to ground that a little bit. Stephen, you've obviously worked overseas and you've worked with collections overseas and with John's work. Can we unpack that a little bit?
Yeah, well, I think if you want to look at a great artist CV, you have to look at, someone like John and, think about the exhibitions that he's been a part of, thinking about the Dreamings exhibition, Magician de la Terre, Arajara, Sao Paulo Biennale. And, these have really, I think, created expansionary movement in the ways in which Indigenous art is seen and written about and thought about. I do think international spaces are really important for, promoting Indigenous art, but obviously they're not the only spaces. I think, Australia's done a really good job of positioning Indigenous art at the forefront of contemporary art practice as well. And so, it can be frustrating when you do have to have the same kinds of discussions around Aboriginal art in an international context, which have largely been kind of, if we want to think about, have largely been won in Australia. So, I think there are kind of pluses and minuses of having that international conversation, but I think it's really important that Indigenous art is at least part of those internationalised discussions. And, when you go overseas, Aboriginal art is international art. So, everything becomes more complicated.
Yeah, it's a different way of seeing it, isn't it? And I think, John, you've had great experience in showing your work overseas, but I suppose a question that I have actually, a personal question that I have, which I've always wondered about, is if you feel that the way your work has been received or understood has changed from an international audience.
what are you got? I mean, now we're in gallery, no Gobol Piga, Yare, no Bindi Bukang Balanda Dolopo. No get again, Kunkari book getting again, Balanda Birit now, and Bidigo Aquam, no Mankari Bini. You talk no Bolki me Gabri Bolt me Balanda, and Gabri Bangan Binin again, Gabri Nan Dolopo, okay? One Bolki, you talk Bolki me Gabri Bolt me Balanda, like Gabri Nan Dolopo, Mutage.
Yo mana me amung bu am dolopo bu kabri jare balanda en kabri bolt me man kuning ko bu iman kuning ko na kari na gallery balanda na abe nangunde na gari yang na kule ukimu yo wa dolopo wa najaro en wa ngaru dolopo.
So, my paintings have travelled everywhere, all over the place. It's hard to know what everybody thinks in such faraway places when they look at them. But one thing that I notice has changed with this exhibition is my language, Kuningu. And people are looking at the art through the language that I speak and the ideas through the language. So that is something that I think is really good.
We think it's really good too. And the thing I think that's been critical to this exhibition has been, that we've looked at it holistically, but that we have been so inclusive of language. And there are two kinds of languages within the exhibition space. There's the narrative that you see across the walls, and there's the narrative that you see written in Gunungu as well. They are two different kinds of narratives, but they're coming together as one language. And I think that's been really important in our way of thinking about the exhibition, because we're seeing that really holistically, aren't we?
We are, and that really drove our rationale. We sat together with Bullen and Murray and John Altman, who really is an activist for Gunungu and has worked with Bullen for 4 decades. We sat together in this very building and we asked ourselves the question of, do we do a show? And if we do a show, what does the show look like? Bullen has been celebrated everywhere. And we said, should we do a show together? And if we do a show, then what do we need to do? And from that very first meeting, which wasn't about assuming that we would do a particular type of show, and I think that's where sometimes curatorial projects go wrong. They have an idea of themselves before they set out. From that very first moment, we asked the question, should we do it? And then if we do it, how do we do it? And Gunungu and John's leadership was there from the very first moment.
Like, Alec game getting again, what did you remember? Come up po Karimon Bun exhibition, no dollar po. Even no good guy like Kandi Jawam got pere and what the imak me ma Karimon Bun. Mungoy ngundi Jawam, Balagari, could me dollar po, Balamani dollar po, how would like no catalog with one bomb, no good when ngundi Jawam, but Gamak Muda, Irok me, what the event bukang. Nani gurme ngai ngajare kuning ko gun walk dore ang kare ngai ngajare manen no dollar po ane uri gurme komeke ngai ngajare no doa yeri jano ngorben bukan balanda komeke no uri gurme lor kon komeke mi no ngoda I ben buka ngorben jar buka kre manau gan janguta ngoda I dok meng I ben buka wan beta yeri wan undi walk bekang pa like and bolki me karinan kamak rope piri gurme ngre gallery matni mane MC no Brit Marnbo.
You la kuyaga ime mak balanda maneke ngayol me balanda kunia iman ngaro bu kunja giman ngan mang la nani nag keru in gari lop me morena iman 1 2 3 4 5 aja iman kabru ok de kuning ko iman ibakan kuning ko weed kabri me kuning ko and bo iman ngani iman kunca ngama wal ngani wal balanda iman taking place ngade yo and En na me abriolol me dolo po yo anu ngat bere unwok bala makaka ime unwok. Mình yêu nó ngắn yêu giàu anh kun cảnh ngõ amet kun chặt ngàn mang jam ra yo kun kim.
So there are Aboriginal people and non-Aboriginal people working together on this exhibition, and I see the way they've been working means that this will happen. I am ill, and when I die, because I have taught other people and people who work at galleries on my art through my language, that will leave a legacy for them. They will have a better understanding of the things that I have done because it's been done through my language, and they are making an effort to learn about my language. The language features a lot in the show. When I am gone, all of that material there through my language will be held by all of these people, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, etc. They will be able to have that legacy of understanding of my paintings.
Ow, my heart hurts. We have been very blessed to be able to learn another language, and not just an actual language, but a understanding of other people's what's important to other people. So I think I probably speak for all of us who have undertaken the exhibition that this has been a gift to us, not just to the MCA, but it's actually been a real gift to be able to work on this and to work with John and to work with the language. Thank you. I have to move on, otherwise we're all going to get emotional in the room. One of the things I do want to talk about, you mentioned leadership, John, and I guess the MCA leading in this regard. It is a really different way to work collaboratively. Essentially, John has been the kind of the lead curator in a way, where you've decided what you wanted and how you wanted it, and hopefully we've been able to sort of run that through. But Michelle, we were talking today, and I was thinking about this last night. One of the things that you're also showing leadership with is, and you see that in the space, in the resource room, with some of the family legacy and the work that's been done in that space, that women, particularly up at Maningrida, are doing really fantastic things, and part of that is your leadership. I would even go so far as to say that John is a true feminist in every sense of the word, in that he encourages the women there to not only paint it, but to actually take on leadership roles within the community. Sally Ann, his gorgeous granddaughter, is here, who is part of this as well. So I just want to sort of unpack that a little bit as well. I think that's really important.
I'm happy to.
Daluk ken ka yol meli man ke manguta ja no ngalbe wood ke kabribimbon and ja alman migien kamwam daluk ja binin like kari jar nan man kari binin ke minjal binin we daluk binin narang em ngal like yo ngal daluk
Kun kunya yol me Adelaide ngayolal me Garde, or ngai marundang nangani, and mamun gawan dalu ngadu kare Garde arang mar. Ale yang ori benar kan ke ale ngana every ngana Paris, Tutland, Singapore, everywhere ngana dalu ngale udia. Mawa, but ngani jalan konan Sydney, Melbourne, everywhere jalan ngani man, me and my wife.
So it's also important that families are involved. For example, me and my wife have travelled everywhere together. If I'm not able to go to Adelaide, there will be other women in my family who I would like to take my place, my wife, my other female family members who know my paintings, who can speak on my behalf. And my wife and I have travelled everywhere, Sydney, Melbourne, Adelaide. She has been everywhere with me. So it's men and women in the family together.
Can I just ask you, Balang, and just share with the audience, when we were able to come up to visit you in Maningrida, the importance of taking us to see the John Mawurndjul Museum, and for you to be able to share the work that your father, your brothers, all of the people who have come before you, and all of the people who are making work in the community. For us, it was just so moving, and so it just showed us how important family and all of the community members are to each other, sharing the stories, different ceremonial photographs from different ceremony, but also the different objects that are held and kept safe within the John Mawurndjul Museum. And also taking us to Bapara, to the Women's Centre, and introducing us to family members and other women who are making incredible textiles and fabrics.
Iban kan po ngat hari muam gre manogan, and nguta kan buka ngat pire gre kariwam John Mawurndjul Museum, and nguta yol meang nyale gre gayo gre John Mawurndjul Museum dolopo ya mak jer ya makun ma ya no dapra pol pet pere no kun gare man gole ya bok ngaru ya urut pet pere nguta yol meang, and ngarit na. And like bo ngarit nan ngan ga ngeme ngat pere ngarit jal beng kan woro no dapro pol bet bere no gayo gre John Mawurndjul Museum and nguri nat nan mungwe wan ngari wab meng ngari wam gre Bapara Women's Centre gre nyamet kabre manbun gre manburba printing kabri meng ngarit nang rope and ngari bekka ngari nyilmak bo ngarit nang gre John Mawurndjul Museum bo nguri nat nan dap rapol bet pere birik man bom kun kahari
Yo no da para berberi urmenja en nguri mam papa rabu kangut bere. Papa rabu kangut bere po nguri ben maka man kare en jang kam di kore nabi kayo bok ngaru, kayo parau, kayo upun, kayo waliman, kayo man gole lagun majla wong gor gumea kapandi no kubi yo naka name dapura bol biri gurme because biri wo nang ka banga de goyo gume unne welang bol kitrekin pelagari me bulan
So the John Mawurndjul Museum is a place where things from the past are kept and looked after, things that remind us of our ancestors. All of the things in the John Mawurndjul Museum, you know, whether they be the bark canoes in there, the spears, the bags and containers, the sacred dilly bags, the stone axes, all of the things our ancestors used in their lives remain there in the John Mawurndjul Museum, and also at the Bapara Women's Centre. They are painting the stories of the Jung, the sacred sites in the country, on the textiles.
Thank you. I want to bring it back a little bit if we can, and I want to direct this question a little bit at you, Lisa, but everyone, obviously. Just, you mentioned something the other day. We did a couple of talks, and you particularly said, you know, in each area of the exhibition, we haven't obviously done it chronologically, thank goodness, and we've tried to. You see at different dates of works through every part of the exhibition because it's done by site. So there's, you know, you can see every decade of John's practice in every room, and you were talking about that the other day, and just that. Like, that's quite rare.
It is quite rare, and in the discussions with Bullen about what does this show look like, it was important that we were led by country and by place. But what that does from a museum or museological or curatorial perspective or even an art historical perspective is potentially quite radical. So we have this history in the Western tradition of the writing of one, the kind of idea of a monograph. How do you write one? How do you write a story about one artist? How do you write a story about Bullen? And I Am the Old and the New gave us a chance to kind of rethink that, because we're not taking a traditional thematic or chronological approach. In some ways, we need to kind of break the canon to remake a canon that makes sense from Gurningu perspective. We don't have enough art histories on Aboriginal artists. We have very few. We have very few art histories that are focused on the idea of singularity or genius, because we think about that as a Western methodology. So we felt very strongly about the need for this show to do something that felt new, so that when you stand in Mimilngan, you can experience 4 decades, the arc of a practice that then corresponds not just to 4 decades, but in essence to deep time. That is inherently, and I love the fact that this exhibition is here, because you are standing in the only place in Australia that is called a contemporary art museum, and you are experiencing deep time through the vision of an artist and 40 years of his practice. So this question of how do you make an exhibition, particularly when so much ground has been broken before, and remember our title is Breaking Ground, how do you make a new show when so much ground has been broken before? How do you do it anew when Mawurndjul has been, his name has been spoken around the world? What does Mawurndjul look like here and now? And so that was our kind of response together, and led, of course, by John and his genius.
Like, came like po, uta like dollar pona kubol kwen, najal wen bo kunret wam, and bo better now biriman bom exhibition gonna go to Australia, because kubol pi now biri like koroko you got to make gallery show like kubol pi jari, but gone to Australia now jal bolki me karinan gallery nakimuk exhibition ge, and biri me ngoda ijal koji min biri ga ngori jark like biri jark na me dollar polar ni ijal koji igar me dollar po man in gallery, and biri me how like kari gerenge won like kari gerenge me po arben bukan balanda, because koroko biri man bom ko bolpiga but maneno kabri gur me dollar po ke an kabin di bukan kunwok nyale kwe jura kabri jare nagerenge kabri bolt me man gareja man gerenge
kwe ayu marek bu balanda arben bukan kunwok na nane dollar po ari dang marma pa kamang jura read kai me gunwok kuningo iman kuningo read kai me aka balang kabri me balang gur me gunwok pa namena kari ngale gerwi nani koro abenang naka gunwen abenang but till inkli kabri yo till Januari yo yamla ngale na ni ale kalka May but kajal mang till full knowledge
yeah, that little tit for a little pregnant thought there. So what I appreciate that's new and different about this exhibition is that in light of the fact that it's true I have had all of these shows in so many places, the Barks have travelled overseas, far away places. Here in Australia, what's different about this show? I'll tell you. It's my language. My words, for the first time, are appearing in these catalogues. In the Gurningu language, my thoughts, my words about myself and my art. That's what is really wonderful. And to see all of these people having a go at learning the language. Look at this director here. When she gets up to introduce me, she is speaking in my language, and she has tried to learn some of the language, she has full knowledge.
Lizanne! What a rap.
Chăm ra ngay iman ngan ni gun kim kun chak. Iman kawak di iman kuning ku gallery open kai big gallery o iman. Na jalan kai open kai men gun walk kai. John guru men gun walk. Ai ngame un put knowledge. Any baranda ngari wam. Particularly English gallery. Same English. Baranda manekai.
In the past, it's just been in English. English, too much English only. And one day I will not be here anymore. I will pass away. But because this show has my words in my language, all of these people who work as curators in cultural institutions, they will have my words. And that will be a legacy for the future when I am gone, because it's my words in my language, and it's not just too much English all the time.
So this is the publication, and I don't know if you guys listened to other talks we've had, but John did want something big and heavy, and this is big and heavy. It takes 3 of us to hold a stack of them. There is, if you have a look at page 186, and I've memorised this, and it's a work that's in the exhibition, it's called Mimmies at Mimillingan, and I want to draw your attention to it just in terms of bring it back to one artwork that I think particularly talks about this idea about breaking ground. In that particular artwork, you'll see, actually, if you want to, Nici, that would be great. You'll see that there's 2 billabongs. It's a split scene, a split narrative, but it's all one and the same.
180.
And there's 2 billabongs, and there's Mimmies, it's a group, a family of Mimmies. There it is. And then at the top, you've got the same billabong, but they've become ancestors. So you've got multiple hierarchies of time operating on one pane, in one narrative.
Everyone's seen that.
To have something like that in bark painting is, prior to John working in that way, is almost unheard of. And this is where I think, I want to direct it a little bit to this, because in terms of the actual work and the fact that the style has been so innovative and that has broken ground, I think it's really quite something. It's something that has shifted the way that people are painting in bark. I'll throw it open to everyone.
Well, I want to riff off something that Lisa said as well, but also connects with what you're saying about the title. I love this occupation of the old and the new, this occupation of these temporal registers. And, for so long, Indigenous artists have had to choose between traditionalism or contemporaneity, and traditionalism have these, registers of authenticity, which is rewarded by the market. And then the choice about contemporary, has a currency of mobility, so you can move through. And I think, John is saying, why not have both? That we can be a contemporary artist who is so, is very much in conversation with the past. I mean, he's a great art historian. He knows his art history. He knows about the past. And I think this is a really important lesson for, visitors to understand. And, what you guys have produced is a really important localised art history of Gurungu people, and I think we need to see more and more of this.
Okay, maneno mangari bengan mangari bo kobokan kaprapal piriti ibenang ibolk meng mangari betpe ijal karme ya bolki me mangere ngawari bo ibiga me bo ibimbun wan gote idok me bo ibimbun dolapan biribi kan nore re kapri men kaprina nakapalang kabi kap me and better worried one kapri bimbun but gote idok me bo ikar me bogen man gareja man gerangi
Yo nane ngam nagi mukona gallery nanyo nami amam bu ngarang marmeyo kona anandel Sydney harbor big nagi muk ngarang marmeyo boy kona kujalu ji big name kona boy mama men ngarunde ngoyo and on traveling kai mat be dolopo chami man kai ga beri made are iman yiri jadu agare.
The idea of painting something new is helped by this big gallery, this big institution. That's what's helped my new ways of doing things get out there. And it's this big place here in Sydney. I've come to this big place and was at the opening on Thursday night. This big city, this big gallery is what's helping my new ideas or new ways of painting have exposure.
Just really to carry on from Stephen's point, and Stephen, if you're not familiar with his exhibitions, make sure you look at them. Something like Everywhen, for instance, collapsed a lot of those binaries that we feel so comfortable with and that Western art history is kind of predicated upon. And, you know, of course, a Gurningu artist has driven our capacity to dissolve those binaries. And I think the best way to do it is, for us, for Ballanda, is for those outside Gurningu culture, is to try and do some deep listening. And in that, we've been led by Murray. For Nici and I, in Adelaide, we've been working on this for a while with our institution. We've been working towards trying to listen. There's a really beautiful Central Desert word that runs across several languages, which Arnangal languages, but also into Aranda, Western Aranda, and the word is gulila. And gulila means to listen deeply. It doesn't just mean to hear something, it actually means to listen. And I think this idea of getting our ear in, and clearly Garde is the exemplar of this, but getting our ear in is actually not about hearing, it's about listening. So part of hopefully, the innovation, the new, in the bilinguality of the exhibition is not just about being able to hear Gurningu, it's actually about being able to listen to Aboriginal people. Because if we can do that, then we'll be in a much better place.
Kami po ngat Ballanda aja ngat hari ku play ko polpiga po nungano artist ka bimbun kari bekkan gun wok nu ye kari bekkan no gun maili nu ye kre gun ganem wan kari bekkan bale ka ime dunin no nyali ka kare me gun maili nu ye po kari bekkan ngar ben bekkan biri ku play wan gamak wan ngari man bon Korea gallery namakai gen bo Ballanda Gabri bolt me.
Yo gun ay mena gun mayal mana ke ngakuru me ngai ajal guru me gun yung ke ngakuru me min nyala magya kane jalan ngan bukan at bere magnya me kai me ari ya dundi ari bekkan kai me ari bekkan koro biri bekkan na ning Ballanda biri bekkan bat mau nyamet kwet kini no nani koro biri bekkan Ballanda nani koro ngaben nang koro read ngaben imun ko mind brain.
And it's the same for us as Aboriginal people with our old people and our ancestors. We've had to listen to them. We listen to what they say, and all of the things we do in our paintings that come to places like this, non-Aboriginal people then can listen and have the same ideas. There's a lot of ideas, you know. I've tried to do that, put those ideas into my head, into my brain. It's true. It's about listening and learning.
I just wanted to unpack the process, just go back a step, because I'm not sure that everybody's aware that the texts that are on the wall that are about each and every location, Kakopebuli, Mulmega, all of those texts are in their Balang's words. They're not, it hasn't come from English into Gunungu. It started as Gunungu. So he, and this was, it was challenging in that we had to spend a lot of time. And it started with the time that we were lucky enough to be up in Maningrida, and that thank you, Balang, for trusting us and for taking us out onto country with you and sharing with us some of these Gunrad, some of these very, very special places, enabling us to get our heads around how deep within country they are, but then how very special and important they are because it's ancestral country. And so that's something that people, I think, just to be aware that this has all come from the knowledge and intellect of Balang and the people before him and the people around him who have worked. Derek has helped to go back and forth with information. Sally Ann, Simbasto, other people involved from the Art Centre. This has been a very big joint project because it's had to be. It's not straightforward. It's about that toing and froing and trying to think about the Western audience, but through the eyes of the Gunungu people and the people who have created and live the culture.
Okay, ngari man boman no exhibition ngari moam gre manaogan and ngari bolk nang muta kan bolk pokang kun walk me kumeke gre like pirinam and gun walk minjal English we but kuningo gun walk kayo worried one ngari walk pulet ken gre kun balanda and at like ngari wen ngari jark duk miri man kai me better gre manaogan art and craft Maningrida arts and culture nunga ngarech no curator for kabri duk meri biri wen ari jar duk meri an nguda irok mengan kan buka ngat beri an job nagi mok ngari duk meri an bol kime boy karinan namaka again
yo no bu bunga palanda abri man ore man bi mak mayora palanda ga men nabi ga ni man hop hadka ben iman bapara gani ajare balanda namak gani bar mayuri be mane ayolon me chamta kamre kamanan gumege mani manyale nyamet mani gana ne nagi mukan gai ab kare en abwan ina ngariawan chamta ngariawan mani namek kaime ngariawan to be a key.
And the process is not always easy. There are difficult things along the way. There is community politics that we need to make a living. When we do art, we do it also because we can sell the paintings. We need money to eat, and sometimes we wonder how we're going to get enough money, sharing it out. There's complex issues that need to be sorted out in the organisations in Maningrida, like Bawanang Aboriginal Corporation. We all work together through Maningrida Arts and Culture to do these things. And so these are hard things that we have to think about as well. It's not all easy.
Just yes, and I feel really happy that an artist is speaking about those issues, and particularly an artist from remote community. Us living as we do in cities and based in urban places don't often have an understanding of that and the realities of life in these places, the good, the bad and everything in between. And it's really important to talk about that because this is the reality whilst we have this beautiful exhibition here that we've been able to put on, people have to live and survive, not just in Maningrida but in all community art centres everywhere. And there's this weird kind of, this weird distance between what we see in places like this and what actually happens when we go to outstations or we go to remote places. And this is the lived reality. So when you're seeing this work, it's good to also think about not just the time taken for every bark, which might be a month to paint for some barks, but also the way where that work has come from the ground up, not just its materiality, not just that it's on bark and it's made with the ochres, but the fact that it's come from some pretty hard places as well. It's come from a history of Aboriginal people having to survive in those places. John in some of the sites talks about these outstations, and people were sent to outstations. They were moved to outstations and had to come back into their traditional lands. John, I have another question for you. I think people would be really interested in kind of understanding how important it is to continue to be able to work on country and to paint on country, to be able to go out, to Millingen and just stay there and to be able to paint and be with family.
Kajari gunjawan po birigerange urut kabri jot meren po mungoi kabri jang ni gre manau kan min kabri bolt me gunret min kabri bolt me jang gre milgan po min kabri re gre gun maramo kabri jang ni manau kan min yale kabri bolt me itok o bale kabri me like kabri jal re po kabri bolt nan gunret pet pere o kabri jal ni manau kanan min kabri wen bolt me no mangare ngot pere
yo warna ni ngam wa amam na ni ngarang mar ma ame ngarang mar me amani me ngai bolanya ngam bu de ngai kare ya bu yo wai yo I me ngai kare ro ko du ngarwen kan bu nai na me amam ngarang mar me wai ngajalu na bu ngare maruk takran kagan man me ayal nu me ayal ni na guje ngajal
but better no birigerang no
na utut na ngari ro kun wa ka bi yar ngam bin na ngari ro ngai yo biri min ngaben kun me magret ga kun bi yare nyamet kabin di buniere utu do wala nyamet kabri me ore ngal go jinga gar me ale bulan janal jaru minang ale makna la ale ngajarom na me kabet mat punudut ngabe minang hari jalebu.
So it's always a struggle to get back to our country, but we are still travelling back to Milngan, staying at Milngan as much as possible. I take my children out there when it's possible. My wife and I do our best. It's a struggle. We tell them the stories, we talk to them about important things. We do our best to make sure they are learning those important stories about who we are.
Well, if I can just say something about why I find the exhibition so enlivening is, because of that sensorial impact that it has. We've been speaking a lot about listening, but I think it's also about the power of the visuals, but also the smell of that eucalyptus. I mean, it's intoxicating. Thinking about the other modes of being that kind of reading does, and, what I find is really satisfying about the exhibition is that, John is moving us through time and place, and Indigenous art is all about relationships to people, to place, to ancestors, and what it means for a non-Indigenous audience to experience Indigenous sovereignty, if only temporarily, if only on a symbolic level, but that political currency is really important, I just wanted to add that.
Sorry, I'm just checking in on time and how are we going? And are we allowed to throw for questions or no, go, I'm not allowed to, sorry. I've forgotten.
I'm the outsider for this exhibition because I didn't
you
work
can ask
I didn't work on it, but I think the idea of outside, inside is really interesting, and the ways in which John explores that aesthetically. And I'm just wondering, you mentioned that kind of, the kind of figurative melting into the abstract in that work, and how that plays out in the exhibition space, I think, is something that's really quite profound. And it's not about, re-invoking figuration versus abstraction, but thinking about cultural codification.
Those two are kind of figuration and abstraction are really things that Bullender love the idea of.
Yeah, but it's more
another kind of opposition, isn't it, that Bullender love? But we love a dichotomy. But we also love to treat an artist's oeuvre in a way that we can slice and dice it. You've heard that spoken about. They'll speak about the Mawurndjul works from this period and Bulleng's work from this period, and the works that were more figurative or more abstract, even though both of those terms are immensely problematic and completely insufficient. So it comes back to this curatorial problem, really, which is a delicious problem to have. I'm not complaining, but it's the problem of, well, how do you tell these stories without relying upon those old kind of how do you break them all down? And it's pretty simple, actually. You just ask the artist.
Well, exactly. Ethnography has become this ugly word, even though it's not inherently bad or good. But this is John writing his own ethnography, and I think that's really powerful, what it means to engage with Indigenous art on its own terms.
And when I Am the Old and the New are clearly Bulleng's words, and they weren't prompted. They were, when we had the conversation about what does this look like, that was the wellspring, the curatorial wellspring for John Mawurndjul was I Am the Old and the New.
I think it might be good to also, you mentioned a bit about the materiality of the work, but I think that's something we haven't kind of talked about too much, but it's good to talk about that because that is so critical to the way that not only, you read the work that way, but
and
it's...
smell.
And you
sensory.
smell it, so it becomes this sort of holistic experience when you're actually in there kind of...
And we take for granted that it's familiar to... I stumbled across two young women in the exhibition yesterday, and I could see them getting dangerously close to the bark paintings, but they were doing that in order to fathom what they were seeing. The ontology of what we are seeing is not familiar, and we can't forget that. And at the MCA, with an audience that's sometimes constituted of more than kind of 60% outsiders, in fact, 60% of the people we spoke to yesterday weren't from Australia, then, it's so important that we remind everybody of the ontology, the nature of the being of those works. And Chloe, I want to use your words. They're living beings, they're arboreal canvases that are breathing in that space. And they are breathing with a life that's been infused not just from the ancestral meaning that they hold, but from the potency of the materials that are performed upon them.
Yeah, I mean, just on that, and a question for you, Bulleng, is there's particular ways that you put the ochre down. There's a particular format to it. You put one thing down first, then another. Can we talk a little bit about the method of applying those things and how that works?
Kacari po yol me po iman bun dolopo ilauk mang wan karayak men lagi ginye kajal di wan ibarong yamich yakong wan delek rongal no igurme delek wan irarque galba konyirge delek manar yamich nyale kamak po iyol me maneke
So I magagan magiwain pep kai me dolopo ngare ngarak me ngame ngalar me 1 week ka 2 week kalat men name ka jikumele man amang awirk me en yami kalwa black one white one amang abim buna me praj ngaman aman buni man ngale boy ngangut me ngale miyaw na ayaw man bun wani nyamer ngaman buna je ngurudu gun char boy nane boy angut me ani ken Garde bon pingai oi bimbunai gimuk awam koen gobor koen but ngamun geng najalo yang tem ngamun geng ngawam pellet and ngawam Clothilde ngawam nganang dorobo abanti ay man ale ay man kamam o kwenyo anyuam yur geng nameke pala jalwam nameke Clothilde wam balai ngakaju nganang dorobo abanti nani aim pala nana ngai men dorobo naka ngadu kunwok name ngagur me ngai men kale gujal borkwen kale dorobo name leng wam nawen dorobo but one thing rupiah ngajale majale mingi men ngadu nyamet gure bang really empty bank then trouble ngai cepi beri gur men ngadu.
So let me just rewind back and tell you something about the amount of hard work that goes into producing a painting. You have to go out bush and organise everything to get the bark off the tree. And then I have to process the bark. I have to strip it. It has to be put under weights. It might sit there for a week or two. Then I have to gather all of the relevant materials. I have to get the different ochres. I have to prepare them. Then I start the process of painting the background. Then the white silhouette goes on. Then I put one of the colours, start the hatching, bending over the bark, painting it. And then it's taken to the art centre. It goes on a journey. Those paintings, they go to faraway places, so many different places, so many. I'm sending. They go to Paris, they go to London, even further places than that. And I have to support a big family, and I feel like there's a lot of pressure sometimes because everybody wants the paintings more. Produce more paintings, Balang, produce more paintings, more and more. Come on, we want more. And the money just goes, and it gets distributed, and I'm thinking in my pockets, there's nothing left now, nothing. There should be money in the bank. Okay, I have to keep painting again. It's really hard. And these big subjects I do, they're very heavy. Maybe it's easier just to do something simple, maybe not something as heavy as is these here, pointing to the catalogue. Or maybe it's just, I think it's enough now. I think I'm worn out.
We're not surprised. It's one thing to look at all the works when you're actually selecting, and so much of that was already done by John. That was such a huge part of the process. But then, once you actually see them coming in and you see them coming up on the wall, and you realise that one man has done all of that, and all of the Lorcons and all of the Mimis, and I mean, we feel exhausted, and we weren't the people that actually produced that work. So we can understand that is a process, and it takes you on a journey that is very tiring.
Yo, like ngari bangkan po like iruk miri gungi mo jaluk miri ngari bangkan po now and dollar po like ka barne go meke no gun like kun yungi ibim po mi jalwa mi marka me bolke me jal bim po yo woi boki no I yol me gai me woi boki email.
Good call.
Good point.
Good point. All right. Or Arim Crab, our new building in Bapara, our really good building.
So the Art and Craft Centre, I would like a new building, and the Bapara Women's Art Centre, I'd really like a good building for them too.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think we're almost out of time, aren't we? Is there... yeah, of course. Yeah.
I'd just like to thank you, Balang, for sharing your art and culture, to congratulate you for this incredible exhibition of your work, but also for all of the work that you've created over all time, the amount of effort, the absolute expertise, the knowledge and the depth of skill that you've developed over the years. We're all in awe of you, and we are just so grateful to you for sharing this with us.
Man bun like
Yo,
mundi man
come
bun
on.
yo ngan kama kroki man bun like ngat ari nyil mak po karinan job no nagi moki man bom no po kun gari boy bimbo mi jalwa mi makame polki me angari char duk miri po hari man bon mane gallery exhibition man bun me milk munel po ip man bom.
Yo, good show. Big.
Thank you. I think we're almost out of time, so if you wouldn't mind thanking our wonderful artist, John Mawurndjul. Thank you, Murray, for translating. And thank you to the rest of the panel as well.
Thanks, Chloe.
Thank you.
Thank you, Chloe.